Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome back to another Fighting Words episode. Hey, what's going on, man? It's been a while.
We're back, man. We're back.
I
Just
know. I feel like
some busy people. It's that summertime, man.
I was gonna say, like I always say in the intro, we're just two dads to talk about the UFC. It means we also have kids, which means we can't sit down every week and talk about UFC stuff, especially when the UFC world is dead. But if you're missing out, if you're missing out on content from us, please, one, subscribe to the YouTubes. But you can go over to Substack and subscribe to the newsletter. I personally write every week. So keep an eye out for those in case you guys are craving more of my thoughts that you don't have to, read paragraphs on paragraphs. It's pretty short, but shameless plug to start the podcast. But we had a fun UFC card this weekend though with Robert Whittaker fighting. And then also we wanted, oh my gosh. And we'll talk about the UFC 303 card coming up in a little bit, but man, Robert Whittaker, emphatic win against Ikram Aliskerov, I think is how you pronounce his name. Yeah. I mean, the combination that led to the finish, Tyrell, can we talk about that? Like, first off, that he wobbles him with a perfectly timed, like, Superman jab almost, and then they go into a little bit of a scramble, and then the head kick, the jab to head kick, which if he would have connected with that would have been KO of the year. I sincerely, and it still might be one of the best KOs of the year because of that disgusting uppercut.
Disgusting.
Did you know that Khamzat fought Ikram Aliskerov in his other division? Do you know how he knocked him out?
Was uppercut?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe he's watching some film on that guy.
I think he was. Quick. How'd you feel about Bobby Knuckles' return, getting the dub? Obviously, he beat Paulo Costa, but this was a late notice fight. How'd you feel about it? What was the vibe?
Yeah. I think we talked about this via text. I thought Bobby was going to win, but I was a little nervous because getting your opponent switched that late and this guy being dangerous was going to be tricky. I didn't know how it was going to play out, but Rob looked like he was like, I'm not even going to say what I want to say, a phrase that I've learned as a kid, but this guy, he was fired up from the start, man. And you could tell he was ready to go, man. And he was sharp. And he was against Costa too, man. I know Costa caught him, but like he was sharp in that fight too, man. And before we hopped on cam, we're talking about like Bobby's confidence is back, and it's very clear, man. He is definitely got his groove, and I'm happy for him, man, because he is still, I would say, a younger guy. He's not old.
He's what, 33?
Yeah, he's still a younger guy, and I really want him to get rid of Sean Strickland. So I need him to have this confidence leading into that fight. I know he's going to have to fight him eventually, probably next. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. I don't want to jump around too much, but that's what Sean Strickland did not do, which was take care of business where it's like, I'm undeniable, I'm next. He gave us a snooze fest, and they cried like he often does, which he says he doesn't do, but he does. He cried, and it's like, buddy, that's what you do. You go in there, you main event a card, and you knock somebody out, and you make people know. Rob said, I'm the boogeyman of this division. I'm the boogeyman. Like, and he means it too.
I think he does. Yeah.
He does. Well, I've always been a Bobby fan, man. I gotta make fun of him because, I like Izzy. But he's a great fighter, man.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge Bobby fan. I actually didn't pick him to win this weekend. I wrote a whole article about why I actually think he needs to be very concerned, why I think he's worried. And like I thought that was a valid. Yeah, I guess. But I did a full analysis of this guy. I was digging, deep into the archives, and I was like, man, he knocked out Phil Hawes. Like, there's a couple guys that he's no Bobby Knuckles, but I was like, we kind of see the result of DDP and his fight with Robert Whittaker. We kind of see how that transpired, and I kind of thought, well, he is an undersized middleweight. Like, there's just the chance he gets touched up. Maybe he's a little gun shy, because he doesn't know this guy. But no, just flopped it on the table and said, hey, guys, here it is, and then knocks him out. Like, insane.
Crazy.
The first round. Yeah, and the speed he showed, it looked like he was ready for Khamzat in every way, shape, or form. And, Khamzat wants to believe that he's the boogeyman of the division. He's not if you get food poisoning and pull out of a fight. That's all I'm going to say. So,
it was food poisoning?
Yeah, that's what it was. So,
man.
Yeah, which sucks.
That does suck.
Sucks big time. But I think
that's sketchy. I don't know if I believe it. Let me be honest.
I mean, he had a
He,
picture. I think a picture in the
he's
hospital and
ducking. He's
everything.
ducking
So,
smoke. He's ducking smoke, bro. I think he
well,
get
that's the
nervous.
thing. I think that Robert Whitaker is a boogeyman for two people in that division. I think the first one is Kamzat. I think Kamzat would not be the one to acknowledge that, but I do think that Robert Whitaker, this version of him, I think takes it confirms everything I thought about their matchup, and I think that Kamzat just gets taken to the cleaners. Like we see just a unique beast of Robert Whitaker defending takedowns and just cleaning this kid up. And then two, I think that he's also the boogeyman to Sean Strickland. I think that Robert Whitaker's style
Bad
against
matchup. It's a bad matchup.
horrible
It's a bad
because
matchup.
it's the speed. The speed
Yep.
is to which he can, and not only that, that Philly shell doesn't defend against the jab high kick, and that's Robert Whitaker's bread and butter. Like we're
It's,
talking about how many guys he's wobbled with that combination alone.
I think it would be, and this what came to my mind immediately when I thought about the Strickland fight. It's like it's going to remind me of Robert Whitaker versus Cannonier.
Yeah,
It just outclassed it. It's just too much. Obviously, Cannonier got hurt in that fight. We're not going to say he didn't hurt his form, whatever, from the kick or punch, but it didn't matter. Like Rob is
no,
just too skilled against guys like that, and the way
yep.
Sean fights, he would counter Sean, I think, and hurt him.
I could even here's
Be a tough fight.
my hottest take. I think that I may have this evening. I might have another spicy one when we talk about the UFC 303 picks. But I do think that if Rob keeps this up and Izzy loses to DDP, I think Rob gets his belt back. I think
Well, that's
there's
not
going
really
to be
hot.
a
That's not really hot.
no.
I think so.
Well, and here's why though. I think that we're gonna get a lot more. We got a lot of tape with DDP that we didn't get before on any of his other fights against Sean
Yeah.
Strickland, and I think we're also gonna get a lot of tape on the Izzy and DDP fight, which I think is going to be a bit closer. It's going to be weird. It's going to be an odd fight. It's going to be a point fight. I just don't feel like there's going to be a huge amount of fireworks, but I do expect Izzy to win. I do. And
I think Izzy finishes him.
I,
I
I,
do.
I think
I
there's
do.
a chance of that. I just don't see how
He's too
DDP
angry.
deals with the range. Yeah.
He's too angry at him. He's too angry.
Yeah.
Like I think Izzy is going to be so driven to just he wants to hurt him that he's going to like throw out his game plan and try to kill him. And I think he will. Like he's strong and long
Mm-hmm.
and rangy. I think we see kind of a Costa thing. I think you see Dricus
Mm,
a lot more gun shy, and nervous because it's a big show. It's like yeah,
mm-hmm.
you fought for like the interim, whatever. Was it interim? No, the real belt.
No, it
He
was a
beat
real
Sean
deal.
Strickland,
Yeah.
but
It's
Sean
Sean.
Strickland doesn't give that same draw. You're about to fight Israel Adesanya in Perth.
Mm-hmm. That's different.
It's about to be crazy in there, and that guy's
Yeah.
been in those kind of fights for his last 10 fights.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, haven't been in any of those fights yet. He is,
Yeah. I
and
mean, he's been
this is
fighting
going
a
to be a
long
different
time, though,
energy.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
has.
think so.
It's going to be, but Dricus can wrestle. He's strong. He's unorthodox. It's a weird matchup. Izzy does a good job game planning. I think he's just gonna be so angry because of what he said about the African stuff. I can see him really trying to hurt him. Like he even said, I'm not coming back for the belt. I'm coming back for heads. I
Yeah.
didn't come. I'm not coming back for. I want to hurt people. So him,
Yeah.
we probably want Sean
We
Strickland again. Like I think he's just going to beat a couple of people in a peace out. I don't think he stays much longer.
Is
But
he? No, definitely not. No,
I
I
don't
think
blame him either.
he's.
Why would you?
How old is he now? Like 35, 36 now?
Yeah, and if you're
I
not going
think
to go up to 205, then there's no point in sticking around
he's
at
not big enough.
185. No,
No, I think he wants that money and he's out of. Which I'm glad he took the break he did. I think out of all the champs, deserved it the most by far. Like not even close. Like him and Volkanovski deserve to have longer careers than they've had because of the
here's
amount
my
of fights they've had.
yeah. Here's my hot take for 85. My hot take is this: if Izzy loses to Dracus, next person, the champion by either the end of this year or mid next year will be Kamaru Usman.
Wow, I did not expect that.
That'll
Holy
be the champion
smokes,
185. Because if Izzy loses again,
he's probably
Kamaru will
done.
definitely know he's done. And that lets him know, all right, I'm full blown game plan to be an 85er. That's why he's sitting on the sideline. They keep asking him, when's he
He
going to
isn't
fight? He's like,
saying anything.
I'll fight when I'm ready to. He's waiting to
Yeah.
see how things play out with Leon and Bilal. And he's also waiting to
Hmm.
see how things play out with Dricus and Izzy. And if
Yeah.
Izzy loses, he's gone. He'll go to 85 naturally because he likes being bigger. 70 wouldn't be worth it. I mean, he already
No.
dominated there. There's no point to go back just to beat who? Bilal Muhammad?
Yeah.
No. You go to 80, you go to 85. You got a whole list of new guys, new set of motivation. He can go grab that belt, fight Rob, fight Dracus, Sean Strickland maybe again, and then I'm retiring. I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. And Now we're talking about a crazier level of legacy he would have and propel
Mm.
himself to if he did that. That's my prediction. So end of this year, mid next year, Kamaru Usman is the welterweight. I mean, the middleweight champion. If Izzy
Um,
loses, if Izzy loses,
that's a
that's the
spicy
piece.
take, brother. That's I mean,
He's
that's
that
one
good,
that
man.
I mean, he's good. I just
Good. You mean great?
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm 100% there. I like the logic. I think I like the thought process there. I just
You
I
know he
don't.
would dominate your boy Bobby Knuckles, right? Dominate him. He would ragdoll Bobby Knuckles. You know that, right? Look, I understand. We talking highly of Bobby Knuckles right now, and I want to too. But let's be honest here. Most dominant 170 champion guy who was okay at 185. Like he's a good champion, but like not the same level. That man move up to 85 and fight him. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. That's
Uh,
not Khamzat Chimaev. That's different.
I That's crazy. I didn't know that Kamaru Usman, won a silver medal in the Olympics and yet still couldn't take Bobby. Oh no, wait, that was Yoel Romero that couldn't take Bobby Knuckles down. He didn't take him down one time. Yeah,
You
yeah.
mean the man who was like
The
45 like 15
steroid
years ago?
freak, yes,
The 45-year-old
the
that is
steroid
proven to be
freak that literally
the
doesn't have a neck but steel at his
the one who's
neck.
proven to be a journeyman. He's proven to be a journeyman.
Oh my
He
gosh.
hasn't proven to be a great. Um,
Oh gosh.
if you think Bobby Knuckles, and we're not going to go on a tirade
Yeah,
separately,
no,
but
no, no.
you and everyone watching, please go in the comments on this guy. Are you trying to tell me Bobby Knuckles is a better champion than Kamaru Usman?
No,
Better
I'm not.
fighter, a
I'm
better
saying
fighter?
I will not be picking
Okay,
Kamaru Usman
that's
over
fair.
Bobby Knuckles in that
That's all.
fight,
That's your
though.
heart. And every time you pick with your heart,
That's
what happens?
Hey man,
Sleep.
BSD
Somebody
Dustin
goes.
Poirier. BSD Dustin Poirier. I'm 1-1 right now. That's all I got. That's all I have is my heart
I
right
hear you.
now.
I hear you. But you know what?
Yeah.
The only time you've been right is when it's been a non-champion. When we're talking about the champions you like and you pick them with your heart, they lose. When you pick these non-champion guys like DP, yeah, you may get it right every once in a while when he's fighting some bums like BSD. But
Are
but
you really out here disrespecting my man?
I like DP too.
Oh my
I
gosh.
like DP too, man. But hey man, he's the uncrowned king of the journeyman. He's a very good fighter, but yeah, man. Just hasn't got that strap before, so he can't even enter this conversation. So maybe not mention him next time until he gets the real strap. But he won't. I like him, but he won't get it. He won't get it. It's over.
You are
It's
just
over.
out here.
He
We
Dustin
we skip
Poirier.
a few weeks and you are
I got to come back with
literally
it. Listen, Dustin
coming
Poirier, I
after
love
my
you.
throat right now. I'm taking this personally.
DP, I love you, man. Listen, he's doing this. It's his fault.
I'm
DP,
not doing that. This is unprompted.
DP, listen, I love you, but it's time to go back to selling your hot sauce. That's going to be
Oh
your best
my
thing at this point. Move on from
gosh.
fighting, bro, because the 55 strap ain't happening. You definitely ain't going to 170. You can't go to 145. Hot sauce is your gig right now, bro. Go make that money. I'll get some. Like, I'll be a fan. Hey, we'll promote it. We'll be a partner. Whatever you want to do here, man. Like, we'll promote it on the show. But you
There
ain't
is
getting that,
not
bro.
a shadow of a doubt that you will ever give us a sponsorship on this
Why not?
podcast because of how you just disrespected the
I'm joking. You gotta bring a little comedy to the show. I don't
I'm
mean it,
joking.
DP. I
I'm
don't mean it,
joking. He
DP.
says he walked it.
I didn't walk it back. I said I was
Oh
joking.
my gosh, Tyrell,
But
you
it's the
take three
truth.
weeks off, and it's just like the rails go off here.
It's because you said some wild stuff about my man who's a champion,
I
a
didn't. I didn't
legendary
even
champion.
say anything that was like remotely off kilter
Anything
here.
but anything besides agreeing with me that he would beat Bobby Knuckles is I took as disrespect. So that's where we're at.
Well, disrespect would be if we didn't talk about UFC 303 and talk about a
Fair,
segue
fair.
is
Let's
over
get there,
to
man.
the main card. We want to. I'll do the quick rundown of the picks. I'm not gonna give all the fighters all their flowers, but we will
Nah.
at least do the main card pick wise. So the first opening bout of the UFC 303 main card is Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. I'll keep it short and sweet to the point. It's a heart pick. MVP, kick his head off. That's it. There's the tweet, and that's it. I don't want to see Ian Gary there. I don't want to even talk about him. I will never pick this man in terms of like actually liking him. I think that there is an ego here that Gary's either I think he's gonna fall in love with trying to strike with MVP, and MVP is just gonna beat him. And I think he's way too fast for him. So we'll put
Yeah.
that on the table. What do you think?
I want to pick MVP, but I'm scared, man. For some reason,
Hmm.
when you said these names, I immediately was like, I don't know who I want to pick because my heart tells me to pick Michael Venom Page because I think that if they're going to strike, I think he's the better striker. And by
Hmm.
watching Ian Gary's last fight against Jeff Neal, I wasn't impressed by what he was doing. He was just trying to
No.
survive. It felt like, and Michael Venom Page showed us against Kevin Holland that his striking is so unorthodox and fast that I don't know if he can avoid him for 3 rounds without
Yep.
getting pieced up. So I think I'm gonna pick MVP too. I'm not 100% comfortable with it because I don't know if Ian Gary's going to try wrestling or something. Like, tries to throw something else in there. I don't know what he's going to try. He may try to win by points in a
Yeah.
boring way. And he has the length, doesn't he, too, by a lot. Isn't he pretty long compared to him?
Yeah, exactly. He does have the length by I think by a hair, not by
I
a
thought he was way
lot.
taller than him. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
don't
say
think.
MVP too, man. I am.
Yeah. I think that I mean Ian Gary's taken a total of 2 takedowns in
Ever.
his UFC career. So, I think that's something we don't really need to worry about in regards to if
I
that's going to
hope
be a
not.
part of his game plan. If it is, and it's a surprise, it'll be like that. What was that fight? It was between MVP and Paul Daly, and it was just annoyingly boring.
Just so you know, he now works at the same camp as Charles Oliveira.
Who Ian Gary? Yeah, I don't love that, but
You know,
um,
trying to tell you. And it
yeah,
was just, I saw a video of them talking and he was like giving him tips. I'm like, oh.
yeah,
Hey man, that's scary. I don't know.
yeah. I
Submission.
yeah, it's not great, but I think that it's going to be a fun fight. I don't think it's going to be one that we're going to be like, wow, this was the best fight of the card. And maybe it will be, but I really like, I think it'll be fun. I think 3 rounder is perfect for MVP again. And I think if he beats him, I mean, we're talking like
It's a
title
big win.
contention. Yeah. Like
I will say
potentially.
this, and I'm not an Ian Gary fan either because I think he does come off like kind of arrogant and stuff. But I will say,
Hmm.
what he needs to do to propel himself really is to have a fight like this where he lets his hair down and goes throws his hands like makes it a bloody like
Yeah.
just they're just going crazy. Like he has to make it an exciting fight. Him doing
Yeah.
these point things and then talking on the mic like he's so great as he goes up in competition. Because as he started to take harder fights, his fights are not ending how they should if you want to go like Sean O'Malley off to the moon. So
Right.
if he wants to take that leap, he needs to go into this fight and finish MVP. Like he needs
Hmm.
to either finish him or like it needs to be a 3 round chaotic crazy fight where they're both kind of bloody. He wins by split decision.
Win the
But
fans. Win the
yeah, he
fans.
needs
It's
him.
as
He needs
simple
him.
as it's as simple as the Gladiator movie. I mean, Russell Crowe,
Yep.
win the crowd, and he
That's
hasn't done that yet. He just hasn't. I mean, everybody hates him because of well,
yeah.
his extracurricular activities. I guess is what I'll put it as.
His
So
lifestyle.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, I'm not even going to address that. Moving on. Mario Bueno Silva versus Macy Chasson. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Who you got? Who you picking? Who's yes,
Hey,
yes.
I'm gonna go Silva. I
Ah,
watched Macy fight a few times. I remember when Irene Aldana hit her with that nasty like kick to her her
hmm.
ribs from the ground or stomach, oof,
Yeah, that was
or
disgusting.
kidneys or something. Oh, nasty. But I just don't think she's good enough. And obviously, we talked about this before we got on air. Myra Bueno Silva needs a win. She needs an
Yeah, big
emphatic
time.
win after that bad loss in the championship. If not, I can see the
Yeah,
UFC cutting her because what's the point of keeping you if you show 2 bad showings like this in a row? So, girl, you need a great fight. You need to come out and get an early finish on her. If you don't, you're probably in trouble.
yeah. And I don't think I'm going to pick Silva. I think I'm going to pick Macy. I think that the striking could be a little too much for her. I think that there is, she has the advantage of
Length, right?
the
She's long.
takedown. Yeah, she's long, but she also has the advantage of the takedown defense, which I know that Silva is kind of like that's kind of her bread and butter. So I think that we'll see some a pretty boring fight. I don't really mark either of these fighters as like amazingly stand out. Like I'm gonna get a highlight reel from them, but I think it'll probably go to probably a split decision for Macy there. I don't know. I'm not really anticipating much, and I think Silva's gonna kind of fall into the annals of boring fighters in the UFC bantamweight division for women. So I don't know. I'm not super stoked about this one.
Nah.
I think there are more exciting fights somewhere else for women's division, and I just don't think bantamweight holds a lot of them at this point. So,
Agreed.
anyways, after that, we'll move into Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze, the fight that probably should have never happened because I believe Roman Dolidze was a middleweight. He's not even a light heavyweight.
Oh, you're
Um,
right. You're
yeah.
right.
So I know that that's a step up in size for him. I just think this man cracks, and I think that yeah, the advantage that Anthony Smith will have is on the ground, and I think that if this were longer than a 3 round fight, I think I would lean more towards Anthony Smith. But I just don't know. I just don't know, like, because Anthony Smith is short notice, Roman Dolidze is short notice, and like, sure, it'll be good, but I don't know. It could be the slobber knocker of the night where both guys are just super tired and throwing leather. And
I
I
love
put
those.
yeah, me too. I mean, just bleed. Let's see it, and I think that we'll see who's going to be the better fighter after round two. I think that'll be like midway through round two is we're going to see who has the better conditioning, and I just don't think Anthony Smith coming out just to go is I don't know. I just don't believe in him. But who knows? I might be eating my words. But it's hard for me to pick Anthony Smith, man. It's just truly hard for me to pick it. So
Well, I'm actually rolling with Anthony Smith, man.
yeah,
Especially after you just told me that Delete is moving up to 205. I didn't realize the weight thing. That bothers me a little bit. I think he'll be gassed. Anthony's a seasoned vet. I think he'll be ready to go for the 3 round fight. And I think Roman on him getting gassed out and lose this fight, man. He'll probably get submitted or something.
yeah.
But not really a fight I'm looking forward to, to be honest, though. So,
Nope. Nope, me neither. But the last two fights on the card, I am looking forward to. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. I think it's easy enough for me to say Diego Lopez is in, and I'm on the train, and I am in the passenger seat of the conductor. I would like to say that you are. I thought you were the conductor on this train, but Diego Lopez is just
that's
he's the
definitely conduct on this train. This is my
okay. I was
guy.
gonna say
This is my guy. This is my
he's
guy.
got that dog in him. Certified X-ray proves it.
Yeah. This is tough, man, because I want to stay on the hype train, and this is a tough fight for him, bro. I feel like this is a
It is
very
hard.
tough
It's a
because,
great
like,
fight, though.
he can't go submission. Like, you can't, not with Brian Ortega. So
Imagine
where I
he
think
does, though.
if he does, it's insane. If he does, it's insane. He is by far he's jumping Volk for who's next after
Yeah.
Max.
Oh
Like,
no, yeah, yeah.
he has to.
He has
He may
to.
jump Max. He may jump Max because Max might fight. Ooh.
Don't say
You see what
that.
Michael Chandler said? Not to segue off. Michael Chandler put he did like military code wording on and pretty much was BMF. He was
Mm-hmm.
like Bravo, Michael, and something else. Something I forget another one he said.
Huh.
And he was like, the best is blessed. Like he tweeted those things out. What if he's trying to fight Max now that Connor's kind of backed up, trying to catch a Max fight for the BMF in a couple months?
If Max fights Michael Chandler, I will be very upset. Mostly because I don't want to see him fight him. It's a waste of his time.
He would just speed bag him. I mean, he just beat
Yeah.
him up. You know, give him some beat him up pretty good. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Diego Lopez. I'm gonna keep with my hype train, bro, because I got to ride. And I'm
Yeah.
nothing against Brian Ortega. I really like Brian Ortega too. But if it comes down to it, what I've seen Lopez do with his hands versus Ortega, I
Yeah.
feel more confident that he can get it done and finish him.
Brian
Or beat
Ortega
him.
is the definition of a fighter that fails upwards consistently. I don't know how he does it, especially when he gets beat. It's just like, dude, like, how does he still in the top five? How are we still? But he's a guy who will surprise us in one fight and then shame us in the next. And I think that he's going to shame us in this one. I don't.
Well, you have to. There's a caveat in there, right? There's something you're forgetting. The times we've seen him struggle up is against Volk and Max Holloway.
That's true.
What is he supposed to do?
That's true. I know.
It's like, bro, what? Like, it's just insane up there. Like, you get up there, you're like, I can do this, and they just beat you to a pulp. Like, no, I
Right.
can't. So kudos to him for still wanting to try to climb that mountain, knowing they're up there. Because if I was him, I'd be like, I'm not fighting either one of these guys ever again after what they did to
Right.
me.
Well, I think we got surprised in the Yair fight because I think we both thought that hey, he's not going to beat him, and then he goes
Yeah.
out there and submits him.
Yep.
But I think it's a different beast when it comes to Lopez, and also Lopez has fought more than
Recently,
Bryant.
for sure.
Well, not only
For
that, but
sure.
like his even like in Brazil and like even on these
Oh,
other promotions. I
you
mean,
mean
he's
out there?
24-6, and Ortega is 16-3. Like, dude's throwing some letter with some more people. He's more active. He's younger. I mean, he's a child. So
Yeah.
the fact that I don't know, I think we're going to see Brian Ortega very much disappoint us, and then everybody's going to be like, "Oh, he's still one of the best because he just lost to this kid." It's like, no,
No.
that's not how that works, bro.
Yeah,
So,
he's going to be. Oof.
I hope
Okay.
we don't get disappointed in that pick. But the main event, the savior of the card, the
Oh my
heat of the
goodness.
night, Yuri Prohaska challenges Alex Pereira's title for light heavyweight bout. They matched up. I think they fought what back in was it last end of last year? I
It was
forget.
last year. Last year.
Okay, and it was for the vacant title. Um, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like I picked him last time. I'm staying with him. Yuri Prohaska, give it to me. Give it to me. We're coming off of an injured Alex Pereira, which, by all means, in
He's
all
still
intents and
injured.
purposes, yeah, he's still injured. He's still recovering. Like, that's going to affect his speed. I think Yuri is a forward pressuring fighter. I think he was a smart man by saying, of course, I'll fight you sooner. Less time for you to recover. And to steal from one of my favorite fighters of all time, Demetrius Johnson, you know how he talks about he broke down one of his fights against Adriano Moraes, where he was talking about I want to create the void, and he said when I collapse that void is when I win, and it's that space in between both of them, and I think Yuri is an expert at doing that, and I think he was an expert at doing that with Rakic, and I think we're going to say that same thing. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because Alex just is a bit more technical of a striker than Rakic is, but the man's got a chin. I think Yuri was also. I think he walked into that title fight hurt last time. I think there was a couple other issues. I believe there was something else wrong with him. He was either sick or something. But everybody's hurt in the
Yeah,
UFC. Regardless, everybody has
for sure.
issues. But I think Rakic being, and yeah, I think with Yuri being the guy that's just as big as Pereira, and I think the one that could stand up to him fighting wise. I think that there's still something to be said about his performance that we could have been missing from the other previous fight. That he just didn't seem like himself. He seemed flat-footed. He seemed a little bit like kind of I don't know fearful. And I think Yuri is not going to fight the way he did the last time either. So
Yeah,
I think he wins it pretty handily and running away from it.
yeah. I think I think it'll be a really interesting fight. I think we're on the same page though. I think Yuri. I'm leaning toward Yuri for this. I didn't lean to him the first time. I don't think though.
No,
I
you
do think
didn't.
he wins. I do think he gets it done this time. I think it was early stoppage last time. I think this fight could be a 5 round grueling fight for Pereira. And if he comes out of it, the allure for him just grows, right? Like the legend of him grows more and more if he comes out of this like 5 round grueling fight with Yuri Prohaska on top. But in regards to Yuri, one thing I feel like he'll have to do in this fight to do what you're saying, which is control that distance, is he can't eat these leg kicks, man. Rewatching that fight, he was getting that
Yeah,
leg chopped up. You can't let that happen. If he does that, he's going to take away your ability to get in and out like that. And that may have been why he ran in and tried to grapple more and get him because he was like struggling with that distance control with striking because he was hurt. And he's going to have to find a way to get around that. And I don't know how you do. Izzy couldn't even figure it out.
yeah.
But I do think that we don't really see Pereira get his chin tested much. Yuri's going to test it this time. For sure, going to
But
test
I
it.
think that
And
Pereira also doesn't. He likes to post away. When he's got the cage behind him and he's got nowhere else to go. There's a degree of uncomfortable. If you watch the last fight, like he was just uncomfortable, especially in that first round when Yuri was just in his face and just
oh yeah,
pressuring him. Like he was like,
yep,
"What is happening right now?" And I'm going to throw my
he's going to
left hand,
crumble.
but it's more of a hail mary. Yeah.
He's going to crumble. It's
Hmm.
what I said before we got on cam was I think we're going to see Alex on his back foot a lot, and he's not comfortable. He likes leading the dance.
Or at least keeping
And
it medium in the cage.
yep,
Like he gets to be the one that, and I
yep,
don't think those leg kicks are gonna. I mean, broken foot checking
I,
kicks is a problem.
it is. And another thing I could see happening to him to lose his fight is kind of what happened with Izzy, which was him getting overly confident and wanting to tee off, and
Hmm.
Yuri countering him, and when he's most exposed and dropping him. I think it's going to be a tough fight for her if he cold clocks Yuri in the first round and he goes to sleep, bro. I don't know what we're supposed to say anymore. Like we're just going to have to be
Yeah,
like,
we
all
can't
right,
pick
but
against him
all
anymore.
right, all right,
Yeah,
yep. I'm gonna let unless, like I said, he runs to Ankalaev, the wrestler, and then he beats him, right? But I just think this is going to be a tough fight for him. Rematches are often tough, especially when they end controversially, like that one first one did.
right.
And this guy is a little crazy, right? We know Yuri Prohaska is a nut job. He is not well. He's a sick puppy. So, Buddy is going to come there with ill intentions, and I'm going to love it. It's going to make this fight so fun because we're probably going to get another epic stare down. It's
If he
going to be.
wins, I'm trying to figure out what to put behind me besides the Max poster of him stepping over Justin Gaethje. If he wins and there's another epic stare down, I'm putting it everywhere. I'll have the Dustin Poirier when he wins his interim championship. I'll have the Max one when he won the BMF, and give me Yuri because those are my guys. Those are that's it. Like I'll cheer for all of these guys, and like if that's the case, if we get another one of those ice cold stare downs, which I fully
They will.
anticipate, and I
They
will
will.
be fully aroused in the Holy Spirit of like, let's go, baby. That's as PG as I could keep it here on this podcast. So I am locked in. I
Oh, it's going
am
to be a great fight.
I in the face off. I just give it to me, ice in my veins, but also like I think
Any
that
chance?
what
Any chance either one of them miss weight?
no. I
No.
think Alex is too. He's a pretty like comfortable in that 205 range, and Yuri's. I mean, he looks shredded already. I mean, I don't know how he has a single ounce of fat on him. So, um, I'll be surprised if they either one of them miss weight. I do have a little hot take before we exit, though. I think that Pereira should fight John Jones next if he wins,
Mm, he should. Not going to happen
and
though,
I
but
love
he
Tom
should.
Aspinall. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I don't think Tom's
yeah,
going to be Curtis Blaze.
that's a story for another time, folks. I ain't getting into this.
Last thing I'll say though, and this is like a full circle moment right here. I know we talked about DP earlier. I heard DP is going to be working the booth at 303.
Ooh,
That's pretty cool. I like that for
hey
him.
man,
See, I'm a
he's
fan.
always good on the
I'm a
mic.
fan.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
fan.
yeah. You had to cap
I'm a
that out.
fan.
You had to redeem yourself after the
There's no
crap.
redeeming about it. Listen, I meant what I said.
Yeah, yeah. Tyrell.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Sometimes
I
I'm
love you,
like,
DP.
yeah, yeah.
I love you, DP. Is that the kids doing it? How are the kids doing it now? How do they do it now?
I don't
They doing
know,
it like
bro.
this? I
I
love
don't
you,
know,
DP,
man.
bro. It's all love, man. But
Skibidi Riz and all that other stuff that we don't know.
let's go ahead and hang it up, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? You had a good ride. It's
I can't
true.
believe I literally can't believe this is how I'm gonna wrap up this podcast. You know, listeners, listen to me when I say this. I would consider Tyrell my best friend, but some days I wonder when I get on this podcast what kind of conversation we're gonna because there's always a level of disrespect. So if you've listened to this far, just know that I am the one who takes the good takes here, and Tyrell might have had like a lucky streak at the beginning, but
Lucky
he
streak.
is a mess when it comes to his takes, listeners.
I pick
So
with my
if you're gonna
brain. You pick
subscribe,
with your heart. You're
subscribe for
lying.
me. Yeah, yeah. Which it's
You
the
pick with
heart
the
wins
heart.
out, brother. The
It
heart wins
doesn't
out.
though.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
Everybody has
not
a
going to
game
go.
plan until they get punched in the mouth. Enough
And
said.
you guys often do. And what happens?
Stop it.
Exactly. In the pod, bro. I'm just going to go in again. It's in the pod.
No, I'm gonna end the pod because this is ridiculous. If you have listened
Last
this
thing
long,
I'll say.
okay. Yes, go ahead,
Last thing
Tyrell.
I'll say. Last thing I'll say is, thank you for listening if you're still here. And the last thing I wanted to say was, I heard Alexander Volkanovski has a deal with Tempur-Pedic.
All right. Thanks for listening, viewers. If you've watched this long, please like and subscribe. And if you just completely need Tyrell's energy to be changed for the next podcast, or maybe he needs to take another 3-week break to bring more of this to the podcast, let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week. I'll see you later, guys.